Hi everyone, it's Miss Anna, and I'm here to read a little book called Odd Velvet. Our writer is Mary E. Whitcomb, and our illustrator, who's the person who does our pictures, her name is Tara King. Tara King. Let's see. On the first day of school, Velvet's classmates brought their teacher cinnamon tea, lace handkerchiefs, and a heart-shaped box of potpourri. Velvet handed her teacher an egg carton filled with 7 rocks, her favorite red shoelaces, and a half of a sparrow's egg. Velvet was odd. There we go. Velvet was odd. Oh, but these gifts were from her heart. At lunchtime, Velvet not only carried a used brown paper bag, but inside of it were things like carrots and a butter sandwich, and she ate them. At recess, a few of the girls noticed that Velvet was not wearing a new dress, even though it was the beginning of the school year. Where did she come from? They wondered out loud. Ooh, sounds like these kids are not very nice, are they? Velvet, to be honest with you, sounds a little cooler to me than those other people, those other snooty little girls. All of the strangeness did not stop after the first day of school. In fact, it got worse. Velvet brought in a milkweed pod for show and tell. Luckily, 3 of the other girls brought in talking dolls, a wedding doll, and a crying doll, which saved the day. There's her milkweed plant. And there are those dolls. They don't seem very special to me. Besides, who wants a crying baby doll? I don't. Velvet's nose was freckled. She had a pack of only 8 crayons. Her sweater once belonged to her older sister. Nothing was right about Odd Velvet. Although everyone was polite to her, no one was silly enough to pick Velvet for partner play or to walk home with her after school. Oh, this breaks my heart. No one wanted to be different the way Velvet was different. This, again, breaks my heart. Here she is, our Velvet, having a good time. See, I would want to hang out with Velvet purely because she looks like she can have a good time all by herself and not really care what other people think about her. She is happy to be who she is. On the day of the school field trip, the children were laughing and calling each other by their nicknames. Someone called out, "What's your nickname, Velvet?" It got quiet as Velvet looked around. "I don't have one," she said. "But my father told me that on the day I was born, the sun was just rising over the mountains, and outside it looked as though the world had been covered with a blanket of smooth, soft lavender velvet." A few of the boys let out giggles, but mostly the bus fell quiet. For a moment, everyone was thinking of how beautiful that morning must have been, the day Velvet was born. Sounds pretty beautiful to me. The following week, a school drawing contest was announced. There was no question who the winner would be. Sarah Garvey had the best markers, the biggest paint set, and more colored pencils than anyone else in the class. When the day arrived to announce the winner, the children let Sarah sit right up front. No one was more surprised than she was when the teacher called out Velvet's name. Velvet? Oh, goodness gracious. But she only had 8 crayons, remember? Nothing fancy. Velvet had drawn an apple. "It's just a piece of fruit," Sarah protested. Everyone stared at the picture. It looks so real. I would like to eat it, someone said. It seems like you could pick it up, another child added. Sure enough, with just her 8 crayons, Velvet had drawn the most beautiful apple the children had ever seen. Looks pretty amazing to me. See that? Everybody wants to touch it. It's funny. It's like a museum. Everybody wants to touch all the things they can't touch, right? Didn't matter how much money she had or how fancy her stuff was. It was her 8 crayons that made that beautiful apple. Little by little, the things that Velvet said and the things that Velvet did began to make sense. The teacher had Velvet speak for 2 whole days about her rock collection. She even had ashes from a real volcano. Look at that. Pretty cool. Kind of looks like the moon. Still on the day, she handed out invitations to her birthday party. The whispering had begun. I bet her house is old and dark, Sarah said. The thought of going to Velvet's house made everyone feel a little uneasy. Velvet lived in a tiny house at the end of a long road. There was no jungle gym or tetherball, just a tall swing hanging from a big old tree. But she seems to enjoy that swing, doesn't she? At the door, Velvet's mom and dad politely asked the children in. There were no birthday magicians or wizards, not even a clown, but they got to turn Velvet's room into a castle. Not even the royal subjects painted their faces and put glitter in their hair. They jumped high off the bed and into a big blue blanket boat. Sure looks like everybody's having fun, doesn't it? Lots of smiles. Seems like all the main kids are there. Velvet's sister made each of them golden crowns with colored jewels. They took turns wearing Velvet's royal cloak, which used to be a bed cover. They have very wonderful imaginations, don't they, kids? They played cards and shot marbles. Velvet even showed them how to draw a beautiful apple. And she is on the floor in her room. Pretty cool. Everyone looks pretty happy. On the last day of school, Velvet's classmates brought their teachers a handful of flowers, cards, and they made an impressive collection of nice-looking rocks. Velvet was different, but maybe she wasn't so odd after all. So look at that. They all brought the teacher flowers, cards, and rocks and all kinds of things. Look at that. I think they started to realize that there's beauty in everything. And not only that, kids, is that there are lots of wonderful things out there that are special. They're special for us, they're special to us, that are also special to other people. So I think that that was something Odd Velvet really taught the kids, is to look a little deeper and think a little harder and use your imagination. Odd Velvet wasn't very odd. She taught the kids lots of wonderful things. That's the end of our story for today. I hope you guys are okay and doing well, and I miss you all very much. I look forward to seeing you soon. All right, stay well.